Welcome, everyone. It's wonderful to have you here. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started now. And we'll be doing a little bit of introduction. Then Benny will take us through some asanas. And then as that ends and you're in the resting pose in Shavasana, then I will take back over and do a bit of a guided meditation about the full moon. So we celebrate these moon phases because they are a global phenomenon. This is something that everyone experiences today, is this alignment of the earth, the moon, and the sun. So that the sun and moon are on opposite sides of our planet. That actually happened this morning, California time, so about 9.5 hours ago. And the moon will be rising here in a couple of hours if you want to go out and see a fairly close to exactly full moon. But in the full day, you see full moon about the time the sun is rising. So this is one of the things that reminds us that we are a global species, that we all are participants in this incredible dance of life on Earth. And that's why we like to celebrate the moon phases in Novasutras, is to really recognize that this beautiful experience of a full moon is something that unites all of humanity today. In Novasutras, we recognize this global unity with our two concepts, Agaya and Ubuntu. Agaya is a new word that merges agape, which is a term for transcendent, universal, spiritual love, and Gaia, which is a term that in the sciences recognizes the way that life continuously evolves conditions that are conducive to more abundant and complex life. That life works to actively maintain as much beauty and complexity on the planet as can be managed. Combining those, we get this word agaya, which expresses not only that vast beauty and complexity of the living world, the context of the whole universe, but also the fact that all of that is rooted in love, and in a kind of love that we can tap into if we allow ourselves to be open to it. The other concept that we celebrate in Novasutras is Ubuntu. This is a word that comes to us from the languages of Southern Africa, and it recognizes our interdependence and our connection in community. Desmond Tutu describes it as, you can say, I am because we are. Any individual, and this extends not only among humans, but in the more than human world, any individual is only what it is because of the context of all of the other beings that surround it, that it comes in contact with. Humans only develop as healthy, vibrant people in the context of loving relationships with other humans. Flowering trees only develop as healthy, vibrant organisms because of the fungi, the bacteria, the earthworms, and other beings creating soil. New trees only happen because of their interaction with pollinators and with seed dispersers. Animals can only exist because plants are able to capture the energy from the sun and turn it into the food that we need to survive. So there's all of these reciprocal interactions that bind us together, that make us the beings that we are. So rather than thinking of opening sacred space, we're going to do a ritual of calling the corners. And I'd like to invite you to think of this as just opening yourself to the sacred space that is already there. As just reaching out and really finding ways to connect with, to plug into, to be in relationship with Gaia and Ubuntu all around the world. So we're going to
It's 7:45.
take a few deep breaths and focus that energy inside us. Focus it in our hearts. And then send wishes that all beings might abide in Gaia and Ubuntu, that they might live in the richness and beauty and love and wonder of the world in deep connection. We'll send in the four compass directions, we'll send above and below, and then in radiating circles from where we are, recognizing these natural, permeable boundaries, not borders, of different areas of the world in ever widening circles. And while we do this, I'm going to invite you, if you'd like, to actually stand and face the different compass directions as I call them out. Or you can sit and just turn your head in that direction as much as is comfortable for you, but really gaze into that direction. This helps settle your nervous system, and it also is a way to really feel that what you're doing is opening yourself up to make the connection with what's out there. So I'm going to start in the west, since that's the direction that the sun is in for me. And you can either start in the west along with me, or Pressy, I'm trying to think of what time of day it is for you, but whatever direction the sun is in for you right now.
It's 9 a.m.
It's 9 a.m. So
Yeah.
so if you want to start in the east rather than in the west, that might make sense. And I think the rest of us are in California. Okay. And then, so we'll go around the directions of the sun, and then we'll go above, below, and then sort of where we are, watershed, and out from there. And also, you're welcome if you want to, I'll call this out, and you can just listen. If you've heard this before, though, or just as you get the rhythm of it, if you want to say along the part where we go, abide in Gaia and Ubuntu, or just the Gaia and Ubuntu. And really, as we do that, really feel that moving from within you out in that direction. So here we go. And I'll sort of sit. Okay. May all beings to the west abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. May all beings to the north abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. May all beings to the east abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. And may all beings to the south abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. May all beings above abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. May all beings below abide in Gaia and Ubuntu. May each of us abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings near us abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings in each of our watersheds abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings in each of our bioregions abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings on each of our islands or continents abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. May all the beings in the surrounding oceans abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. And may all the beings belonging to Earth's beautiful, bountiful, and beneficent biosphere abide in a Gaia and Ubuntu. Now I'd like to invite Benny to lead us through some asanas. And Benny will switch screen sharing now.
Thank you. Just want to welcome all of you to this tradition that I'm very happy and eager to share with you. Hatha yoga is an ancient practice that came from India. By their legends, it was shared with the world originally by a fisherman. And for me, I like to think of that story as a reminder that yoga is not about striving, and it's not about pushing or trying to be in pursuit of something. You're not pursuing anything today. We're just casting a line into a bountiful lake, full of the movement of the tides, made so strong by this full moon. Maybe our lake is disturbed by the wind, turbid, hard to see through, lots of grains flying in our way. And it's okay if your lake is disturbed right now. It's okay if you don't feel comfortable doing a certain posture, or maybe the breath doesn't feel right to you. Just be with yourself. Everything is okay. You are still. The utter power, intelligence, and unspeakable beauty of the cosmos, manifesting as yourself presently in every moment. That is a fact. And so at the center of our yoga is this breath. Inhale, exhale. Receiving and giving. The sun symbolizing the masculine, is that strength, that giving. And the moon is receiving the light of the sun, the feminine principle, the divine feminine even. Receptivity and strength unite in our center when we breathe. And the breath is our movement. It moves us. Breath moves our body. Our body serves the breath just as much as the breath is just the pulse of life moving through us. We are breathed. We are lived. To put that in more plain terms, just let it flow. So before we begin, I just want to go through a couple principles about how to move with the breath. The first one is that body movement is breath movement. As I've said, the mind, the body, and the breath are in unitary movement. And so we breathe, we move. That is yoga. That is life. They are the same. And when we breathe with and move with the breath, we can move in such a way to serve the breath. For example, opening up the arms if you can, or simply opening up the sternum from the back if you can, whatever is comfortable. That allows the inhale to be more full, more felt, and bringing the limbs back towards the center of your body, bringing the sternum and the rib cage down and in and together towards your center. That assists and moves with the exhale. And so we move with the breath, we serve the breath. In doing so, it's very helpful to start your breath, whatever side of the breath, be it the inhale or the exhale, before you move. And you finish your movement before you finish that half of your breath cycle. So for example, you can all practice this with me if you can. We'll raise our arms with an inhale and then lower them on the exhale. And we can begin by simply breathing in for a little bit and then moving up. And finishing the movement before we finish the inhale, and then begin the exhale and then move back down. You can do that a few more times if you want, just to get a feel for it. Beginning the inhale, moving the arms come together, the inhale finishes, exhale and then move back to center, bringing your hands to your heart just before you finish your exhale. And so even if you might want to take just pause in these full movements, these gestures, it's good. Listen to yourself, your body, and your breath. No. As our teachers say, you can cheat the body, but you can't cheat the breath. So if you need to slow your breath or change your breath or just release control of it, that's good. Let it be, let it move. And if you need to just be still, your body still moves with your breath, so don't try and hold anything. There's no static posture. Let your body be moved. Let your breath be breathed. And some for those of us who enjoy pairing our breath and our movement with some sort of visualization or sensory experience of the energy moving around with the breath, I like to hearken to the Oriental tradition of Qi, where in Tai Chi and Qigong they say that the lungs are the commanders of the Qi. And in India, that is very much like the breath and yoga being highly involved in the concept of prana, which is another name for life force, life energy. And so we inhale from above and we exhale from below, receiving from above and giving from below. Strength in receptivity, bringing the divine, feminine, and masculine together into our heart, the origin of all opposites. And so let's practice this ujjayi breath, which is very helpful for really feeling this movement of life force. And again, these are guidances. So if you're uncomfortable with any part of it, let's listen to that. And there's no need to feel judgment that originates internally or externally. It's all good. So, ujjayi breath. It's in essence like the Darth Vader breath. You can kind of feel it. The goal is simply to just feel the air moving through the lower part of the throat, maybe even into your chest, in and out. It's not through the nostrils, it's not necessarily through your mouth. It's not, you don't feel it through up here, it's felt in here. And just to give you guys an example, we are breathing through the nose, but you don't feel it in the nostrils. So you can try just breathing in through your nostrils, and it's very kind of like this kind of sucking sensation. But if you were to let go of that and just tuck your chin a little bit and breathe in kind of just here and exhale, you'll hear and feel the air moving where your chin's tucked. And you can see if you can untuck your chin and keep breathing in and out, but still maintain that sense of air moving through that part and across that part of your throat, in and out. It's through the nostrils, but you don't feel it in the nostrils. And I think it's good to take an opportunity here, once you've felt like you have that sensation of sound and the felt sensation of air moving through the throat, through the lower part of the throat, in and out. You can move your arms just to practice that, beginning the inhale and expanding the limbs and opening the abdomen, and then after you finish your inhale and begin your exhale, then you begin the movement back to center. And if any particular movements are uncomfortable, that's okay. Just do whatever serves the breath, whatever is good and comfortable for you. And as people are practicing this inhale and expansion, receiving and exhale and bringing back to center and giving, if anybody has any questions about ujjayi breath and anything that I've said and shared up until now, please raise your hand or unmute yourself. Happy to clarify anything before we fully dive in. So we will begin. And this is an overview of our flow right here on the screen. There are two options. For those of you who may not fully be comfortable moving onto the floor with your bending fully over from the hips and anything on the bottom, if that makes you uncomfortable, you're like, I don't know if I can handle that. The above sequence, the upper sequence, is a little bit more simple and less demanding, and I just recommend at the end, if you can be on like the side of a bed or the side of a couch, you can be seated for most of it and be comfortable. And any modifications and adjustments as needed are good. And like the lake disturbed by gusts of wind, it's okay. Whatever comes and moves through you, whatever you need to do to make comfort for yourself, do it, please. It's all good. So as we move through, we're gonna bring a couple of these larger, and then we'll move through it. So if you want to take a pause to look at the screen, you're welcome to. But I will try my best to make it clear what this flow is going to be in the moment. And remember, this is a guidance. Your breath and your body knows what's best. So I'd love to begin just simply with this ujjayi breath, with the heart center held by our hands gently, like holding the petals of a flower. There's a little cave in there, just like there's a little cave in our heart. We breathe in and out. We receive and give just like our heart does, just like the cycles of giving and receiving that occur at so many incredible scales through Mother Earth, through the entire cosmos, the stars, giving to planets and back. The winds giving to plants and algae, and photosynthesizers give to us, and then we give back to them. Gentle receptivity, gentle strength. And when you're ready, after you begin the next inhale, I invite you to raise your arms or open your sternum. And then you can finish the inhale and begin the exhale, and then bring them back to center. And repeat as comfortable. Moving, spreading, celebrating in whatever way moves through you. Celebration of this intricate, inextricable intertwinedness of all life. All the cells in our bodies welcoming and receiving this flow of the life, energy, nutrients, breath, and giving themselves in service to each other, and to the whole of our body, and to the whole of our collective humanity, all of Mother Earth, giving and receiving. Beginning the inhale, beginning the exhale, then beginning the movement, enveloping the movement in your breath. And when you're ready, you can move into a more downward position. You adjust your head downward towards your lower body or your whole weight waist bends down with the exhale. And you can bring it back. You can move more and more into this folding with your exhale and coming back up with the inhale. Maybe you might want to stay down and kind of explore in this position of folded down. Within breath, in and out, but staying down. Whatever moves through you. And if you're standing and want to be seated, I welcome you to do so. If you're seated and want to move to the floor, I welcome you to move with the breath in some way to get to one of these positions. If you're standing, I welcome you to try leaving, if you can, your hands on the floor near your feet when it's next comfortable. And bringing your knees down to the floor into hands and knees with the breath, yielding to what moves through you. It's good to just feel that breath movement. That's all that you want. That's all that is wanted. And here, where you're comfortable, either on hands and knees or seated, I welcome you to inhale and arch your spinal column forward, bringing your center forward over the hips. Your arms up if you can, or outwards, maybe just outwards. And then when you exhale, back into center and moving the center of your spinal column behind your hips. And let your hips and your breath be the guide here. Don't move your body into a position that it might not yet be comfortable in. Listen to the breath and the body. If you're on your hands and knees, you're moving like a sine wave, a wave across the surface of the ocean. If you're in your chair, you're moving like a string on a guitar or a cello, vibrating in whatever way you're moved, whatever way is comfortable, in whatever way is a celebration. It's all good. Letting the breath envelop the movement, letting yourself be breathed and be moved, and allowing. Receiving from above, giving from below. I welcome you to feel your weight too here. Moving with the breath. And when you're ready, on your next inhale, I welcome you to really lengthen your spine from the center, so it honors both your pelvis and your cranium, the root and the crown, like a seedling grows from its seed. Inhaling to straighten, and maybe if you're on your hands and knees, that'll be in child's pose. And if you're seated, that'll just be up and down from your center. however you can, whoever's comfortable, and then we'll explore that. And if you're on hands and knees, on your next exhale, I welcome you to find a way to transition onto your side laying fetal position if you're on your hands and knees. And if you're seated, now is the time to carefully and gently find your way to laying on your back if you'd like. In some way, finding a restful position. Place to really deepen in for the meditation here. If you're on your hands and if you were on your hands and knees and you're now in your side, this was the position you were in for 9 months in your mother's womb. Nothing has changed. You are still nurtured for incompleteness. Your whole body is nurturing. We are still given so many gifts to nurture us with. And I welcome you to now really settle onto your back or laying or finding the comfort where you are. Be it on the floor or just seated. And you can release that ujjayi breath and just breathe naturally. Let it go. Give your hands to your arms. Give your arms to your whole body. Give your feet to your lower legs and give your lower legs to your whole legs and give your whole legs to your whole body. Give your lips to your face and give your brow to your face. Give your whole face to your head and give your head to your whole body and just sink with your whole body. Letting go to what is. And now I'm going to welcome back Michelle to guide us on meditating with the full moon. And if you feel like just settling in however you want to, it's always just guidance.
You're welcome to remain laying down. Whenever you feel moved, if you want to roll to your side, or you can stay on your back if that's where you are. And anytime you feel you want to sit up, you're welcome to do that as well. Just listen to your body. And I'm going to walk you through a little visualization. This breath moving in and out of us is part of our reciprocity with the beauty of all the trees, the plants, the algae, all of the living green things that grow, that give us the oxygen we need, that take up the carbon that we release when we exhale. That cycle is so powerful, so dynamic. No two breaths we take are the same. We take in molecules that have traveled all around the world with every inhale. We send out molecules that have been processed by our cells out into the air while they will circulate all around the world. This dynamic reciprocity, this cycling of life, is mirrored by this pattern we see in Earth's beautiful celestial partner, the moon, cycling from fullness, waning, dark, waxing back into fullness, always changing, always different from day to day. Tomorrow the moon will be almost as full as today, but not quite. Even more noticeable difference, more shadow. But right now, the moon is very close to its fullest. So beautiful in that abundance of light. So brilliant in that reflection of the sun. I invite you to think about the things in your life that are abundant right now. What are the things that fill you with gratitude? What are the things that light up your world? What are things whose beauty fills you with joy? What are the things whose guidance, whose lessons for you illuminate the path for your own life? What is showing you the way right now? Maybe a friend with wise words for you. Maybe an animal companion that reminds you not to take yourself too seriously. Maybe blackberries ripening in the sun. Just feel that abundance of love that is present for us everywhere we look in nature. All this joy and wonder in the living world, all this great beauty throughout the cosmos. This is the divine love that we recognize as a Gaia. It fills our lives. Those small moments of comfort, of laughter, of awe. When we reflect on all of the things that make our lives so full and so rich, we begin to recognize the way that we're connected. The bonds of love and interdependence. The co-creation of community that happens when we come together with respect, with reverence, with an openness to love. Humans have an incredible capacity to express Ubuntu, to recognize and serve those bonds, to choose to be a loving member of a community. So I invite you just to feel the breath moving in and out of you. And as it moves in, feel this lovingness, this Gaia supporting you. And as it moves out, feel your own capacity for love, for connection and Ubuntu, radiating out from you with each exhale. Breathing in Gaia, breathing out Ubuntu. Breathing in, breathing out. Feel Gaia and Ubuntu circulating through you, just as the oxygen moves into your lungs and nourishes every cell, carried through your blood to every cell of your body. And then your blood picks up what each cell is letting go of and carries it away. And that carbon gets exhaled with every breath. The whole world is cycling through you, coming in, moving out. And every breath, you're receiving love. With every breath,
It's
you can
8-2.
choose to give love. I invite you now to feel that cycling through you. Feel Agaya and Ubuntu strengthening and nourishing you. And then feel yourself offering out Agaya and Ubuntu as a gift to the whole world. A gift of healing, a gift of compassion, a gift of loving kindness. Feel it moving from the center of you out into the beings that are nearest to you. Feel it moving out into your watershed, into your bioregion. Feel it moving across the land you're on. Feel it moving out into the oceans. Feel it moving all around the world, shared by this beautiful living atmosphere. Imagine now what our world looks like from our beautiful sister, the moon, looking back at our whole world, almost completely in darkness today, twinkling with the lights of our cities. But imagine instead our whole world glowing just a little bit with this light of Agaya and Ubuntu. Always dynamic, pulsing, swirling all around the world. Imagine now that light of Agaya and Ubuntu unites our whole planet with love and shines forth from our beautiful little home world, sending love out into the universe, connecting us to all of the cosmos. all of us caring and loving for this beautiful blue planet we call home. Hanging in the darkness of space, but shining out with so much love. All that our species is capable of. All of the best of humanity. Humming together. Shining the best of us. Our love. Our capacity for interconnection. Our capacity for creativity and beauty and wonder. All around the world. A new kind of illumination to share with the moon, to send out into the cosmos. Now I invite you to very gently reconnect with your own body, with the air moving in and out of you. Feel the rising and falling of your chest. Feel the weight of your body supported, cradled by our loving earth. Feel yourself rooted. Feel the breath lifting you, connecting you with the air, with the sky above. Feel yourself making this connection between heaven and earth, between sky and soil. Feel yourself as a human, being like our great allies, the trees, cycling the energy of earth and sun, working to heal our beautiful, fragile planet. But with such strength, with such energy. Feel that moving through your body. Feel it in your toes, in your feet, in your calves, in your thighs. Feel it in your hips, in your belly, in your back, in your chest. Feel it in your shoulders, your upper arms, your lower arms, your amazing hands that can go out and create the world, create beauty, offer love through your hands. Feel that energy moving up your neck, into your head, up to the crown of your head. Feel your whole body alive with sensation, connected to the whole world. ready to support you as you drop back in. Start to move a little. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Move your ankles and wrists, your legs and arms, your hips and shoulders. Let your spine move a little. And then when you're ready, really come back in and very gently open your eyes if they're closed. And let yourself come back to join us in this space, in your own time, at the pace that your body tells you is right. Very gently, just making an invitation. Come on back. Come on back. And as we come back in, I invite you to think a little about where you are now that maybe is different from where you were when you came into this call. What's changing for you now? What do you recognize as being full and abundant in your life right now? What do you want to welcome more of? And if there's anything that's up for you that you want to share, feel free to just speak into the quiet. I'd like to just offer my thanks for all of you for participating in this opportunity to build awareness and to share loving kindness, to really strengthen us as agents of Agaya and Ubuntu in the world.
I'm grateful for the sense of fullness, knowing that the moon is setting on the Philippines, or rising on the Philippines. Anyway, it's rising here.
One thing that's always so special about the full moon is that really the whole world is lit up on this day. You know, when it's the middle of the night,
8:45.
it's not that dark. There's so much to go around. Sorry, Pressy, were you trying to say something?
I'm really grateful about the full moon. Even when I was young, it was the brightest night. For in every other night, it is the brightest night, and whenever it's full moon, I'm really grateful when I was young because we can go hide and seek. And now when I was adult, I'm really grateful for the full moon because it's the sign that even there's a lot of problem happening in the world, the world, God is always existing. He always guide us and give us a regular and the most what you call this, a more grateful and more blessed day, every each other day, because we are on pandemic and a lot of things happening in my place and also on the whole world, and I'm really grateful to have my family and to experience this day because it's relieved me because I'm really confused, I'm exhausted, I wanna do something but I cannot, but it's relieved me and gives me that, and it's calm me that you must calm down, go with the flow, rest for now, and do it better another day when everything is fine. Like it really relieves me.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Pressy. That really touched my heart.
You're welcome.
I guess for me, when I look at the full moon, it just reminds me of just the beauty of I guess, really the sovereignty of the planetary body in and of itself. And so I always like to remind everybody that there are billions, if not trillions, of moons in the galaxy, in the universe, and there's only one Selenine, and Selenine is our moon. And Selene is the goddess of the moon. And every planet we used Greek names, and every planet has a name, every planetary body has a name, and the moon's name is Selene. So it's just the name that and when it's full, it's just like, it's so luminescent and beautiful in and of itself, separate from the earth. It is its own, existing planetary consciousness in so many ways. It's really special. So
That note of sovereignty reminded me of some astronomical factoid that I heard, which is that the moon is actually going to leave the Earth at some point. She's going to just So
Ever widening spirals.
but
Wow.
it's so subtle that it's like any deep, long relationship. It's like the relationship we have with our body. Our soul will move on to some wherever souls exist beyond bodies, and the body will return to the earth and mineral cycles from which we came. But we're so deeply connected right now that it's like doesn't even matter right now. We're right here.
I also was envisioning while we were meditating that if you're standing on the moon, that the Earth is a new Earth, and at the new moon you have a full Earth, and the so it's just really, I was thinking about it. I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, the new Earth.
New Earth. Yeah.
The light that we get from the moon seems so bright on the full moon that I wonder, we're talking about light from the sun bouncing off the moon, then bouncing off the earth and back to the moon, that we're a lot brighter possibly because of that than, we barely see the moon, but there's always the problem that we have is the atmosphere is scattering so much light that anything close to the sun is invisible. But from the moon, if you just block out where the sun is, the earth would still be fairly bright just from all that moonlight.
I heard that, like, I don't even really know, so, and I don't usually like to say things I'm not totally sure about, but, or at least semi-sure about, but I feel like I've heard that there are plants and animals that, semi-photosynthesize, or that basically they do things during the full moon that they otherwise just wouldn't do. That there are like full ecosystem modeling that basically works with the light of the moon in the ecosystem space. So that's pretty impressive light.
Yeah. Yeah, there are lots of, especially marine animals that
marine animals.
Absolutely their behavior is, when it's the full moon, and often it's time to gather and spawn. That seems to be a thing to do. Let's get together and make some love and make some babies.
Very cool.
But there's, the moon has so much influence over the way that life on Earth has evolved, really, because of these powerful tides, because of the those cycles of light and dark provide a rhythm that's different from just the daily rhythm and the yearly rhythm. And so a lot of things schedule themselves around that rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, some of the most complex, I just love time and cycles, and it's part of how I got so deep into natural time cycles and, the moon and all the planetary systems and galactic systems. But it's like, early on, I like just taking like the most complex cycle I know about is the Saros cycle, right? The Saros cycle, so the eclipses of the moon and the sun. right? So the solar cycle, and if you look at it and you lay it all out in a chart, the entire solar cycle for like hundreds, if not thousands of years, and you see like the interaction with the cycles of the moons and how they basically all spiral around each other in this very, very interesting, semi-specific way. In my perception, just looking at it, I see, basically a double spiral. It almost images this concept of like DNA matrix of double helixes and stuff like that, the way that it spins around itself and the way that it projects, as if like that the life, like as you're saying, that the life evolves so closely and deeply with the lunar cycles, that it could be as deep as our DNA itself for billions of years of evolution.
I've always wondered, could life even exist on a planet that has more than one moon or two moons? There's something about the simplicity of that cycle that feels like so vital, like that vital just rhythm of like the tides. It's like an engine moving through. Like imagine like a little cave, like a tide pool, or a little cave, like a hole in a rock, like a lava tube in a rock on the ocean, and the moon, the tides are just like a little. It's just, I don't know. There's something about that simplicity of the one moon system that feels vital. I don't know if that's founded in any way. Maybe it's just our my sense of specialness that might not be a reality.
Having an extraordinarily large close moon the way that we do, the current thinking is that basically some body slammed into the very early proto-Earth, and the splash from that, all this stuff melted, and we got the moon we know and the Earth we know. So we are this very special happy accident. Some people had speculated that the only way that trees taller than, I think, about 15 meters can grow as tall as they do is because we have this really big, really strong moon that helps pull water up more than just capillary action would. The other people are like, well, no, you can probably get there with enough. But it is a really powerful image. And yeah, there's good reasons to think that those early tides and tide pools and that dynamism was part of what made life on Earth work out the way it did, when it did. No way to know until we get out there and look elsewhere.
That is indeed the case, right? We just don't necessarily know yet. But it's good to theorize, for sure.
Yeah.
Benny.
Yeah. Well, there is no question that whatever's going on here is really special. Even if there's life everywhere else in the universe, it's not going to be like here. Nothing is like this.
No,
it's just, everything is that rare and extraordinary.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
All right. Well, we should probably close out. So I'm just going to give us our more formal closing here. Again, we really appreciate you participating, and please let your friends know if you think there's somebody who would like events like this. Other things that we have going on this week, we have another open discussion on Thursday at 11:30. We have a discussion on Friday about rainforests. We're just going to do that as a conversation, talking about projects to protect rainforests. And it's the cross quarter, by one means of calculating it, will be on Thursday or Friday, I think, Pressy, for you. So Thursday, California, it's 6:04 p.m. is the actual moment of the cross quarter, orbitally right between the solstice and the equinox in September. So we'll do a meditation starting at 5:30, so we can meditate through that moment of the cross quarter together. You can find out more about that on the Novasutras website and all of the usual social media channels. And
It's 9 o'clock.
with that, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us.
Blessings on you all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much. So here's a little virtual hug to everyone.
hugs. Oh my gosh, I love it.
And we hope to see you again soon. Be well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
guys.
Nice.
Thank you, Benny.
Yeah, sure. Hey, if you want to stay in touch, you can send me your email or what have you. You know, I do want to offer that if you were like really enjoyed the yoga and you want personal guidance, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So happy to share more. We're going to probably be doing these yoga plus meditation events through Novasutras every full moon, maybe now. I think that's what we're talking about. So
yeah, with the Afghan Community Network, we do all the lunar sessions and all the other, we just want to do cross quarter. That one's very interesting. A lot of interest in that one. But we do exact timing, more or less, like within the hour, So if it's in the middle of the night, we do literally are up in the middle of the night.
Wow, commitment.
So
I like that.
Hence Pressy was down to jump on whenever, But it's we're a global organization, so we work with people all over the world, and it's like someone has to be up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
But we also do the planetary cycles, and the next planetary session is on the 17th of August, and it's the series session. So we're going to be doing that one. I invite everyone there, and I'm sure something will line up with Novasutras because you guys have so many events. And we're also putting all the events on the in-between unity.fun as well. So that one has we're just trying to put all the events, and then right now we're just trying to document it all and pull it all together, but then eventually the goal is how do we do even more outreach and recruitment and just getting the word out for getting everybody's events more out there to the world. So it's pretty exciting. One step at a time. Yeah. But yeah. And right now we're in the Mars session. So and the Mars session happens once every 2 years. And then series is once every Mars happens once a year, series every 2 years. Yes. And Earth is twice a year.
Ooh.
There's the Mars one.
Fun.
Fun. Yes, it's all about having fun. This is amazing fun, dude. I love it. How long have you been studying yoga?
Sorry?
How long have you been studying yoga? Speaking of fun, right?
Yeah, well, I got into I don't even know. I guess I was introduced to it thoroughly I was first introduced to it in 5th grade. So thank you, Pressy. I was yes, of course. I'm glad you enjoyed it. If before you go, here's my email. I forgot. If you want to contact me yourself, you can do that. But I didn't really like fully incorporate the yoga until, I don't know, 4 years ago or so. And then recently, I kind of went to a few like more typical Western yoga classes and tried that out. I did a lot of like my own personal thing, and kind of really felt more appropriate. And then I started going to a studio like starting about a year ago, a little over a year ago. I was going to a studio for the Kundalini they offered, and I really liked how that kind of the what you get out of the Kundalini, like the whole like full body tingles and whatnot from the breathing. But it was forceful, and I didn't like that. I knew something was wrong, but I enjoyed the sense. And then a very good friend of mine, introduced me to this tradition, Hatha yoga, from I think his name was T.K.V. Desikachar, and Krishnamacharyan, and the ujjayi breath and breath enveloping the movement, and it's your yoga. All of that together really gave me everything that I wanted out of yoga, which was like this sense of complete autonomy, and also the ujjayi breath it allows for that, when it comes as a gift, that full body tingling or what have you, or just like a sense of awe just naturally comes out over time as you continue to practice with it, that you don't need to push your body into this intense like with the Kundalini, which is good if you need to like really like get something out, but having a teacher force you to do that when you're not ready isn't healthy, in my opinion. So I've been practicing the Hatha tradition on my own for half a year now, after I guess 4 years of exploring yoga in different ways. Long story short.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I mean that's I agree with everything you're saying. Like I've studied yoga for so long, and it can be very intense, and all of the Kundalini and just the energy, and it's very powerful. And some people, they just can go too fast and too much, and not knowing how to release and let go of the extra energies. And so I really like your grounding, and obviously this Hatha yoga is one of the most mellow. It's really mellow and calming, and but your take is a little different, where it's the empowerment and the ability to be independent through the yoga is really cool. I love that.
Yeah, that is central. That is just like the essence of, it's not this, it's this. That's what this tradition is all about. And it's this flow that I share with Novasutras is so gentle. It's like, it's mostly all bringing into that moon, that feminine principle, very receiving. You can bring in more of that that masculine principle. You can, if you're feeling it, really get into that strength from below, and like if you really want to, like it can come out. If it comes out, it comes out. And so that was just a little taste. And
Cool.
If you're curious to really get into this tradition, I can give you my teacher's link. It's by donation. He has a couple online immersion, or what have you, online go at your own pace courses, that it's just by donation, everything you could ever want to know passed down from his teachers through him in collaboration with others at your own
Awesome.
pace.
Awesome. Yeah, might as well take a quick look gander.
Yeah, and
It's
again,
always- It's
I
always
love
good.
sharing this. So if you want to reach out to me personally, you're also welcome to do that.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's always good to share our our heritage, our spiritual as well as that heritage. And like my background is in, well, obviously like just Hatha yoga, and also I worked with like a sensei and did warrior yoga and all this different types of. Wait, are you in Santa Cruz at all? I know
Yes, yeah.
You are in Santa Cruz. Yeah, so warrior yoga in Santa Cruz was huge back in the day, and Sensei Jeremy Corbell was doing it up on campus, and then also there was Kevin Snorf, Sensei Snorf. So it was all mixed in with the jiu-jitsu. I never really did much of the jiu-jitsu, but I did all the warrior yoga. It was pretty intense. Similar, it was all about heating and Bikram and stuff. But I was just big time into taking my own paths as well and studying just like mellow and Hatha yoga and breathing, and I got it deeply into energy practices, even more exposed to some of the energy and kundalini and other aspects of it, and spent a lot of my time practicing grounding and just focused again, I wouldn't say linear, but cyclical physical consciousness, and it's just meditating into being physical in our physical space is a wonderful thing.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
What kind of work with the energy realm are you most into right now?
Right now, well, for me, it's just called consciousness, and so nothing particular. I try to just connect, but in the context of my past work is all pranic healing. And then obviously worked with a lot of Reiki healers, and we also brought Maori healers. There's so many different healers. Through connecting with people in Santa Cruz. There's a lot going on in Santa Cruz, that's for sure.
Oh my God, it's like a little hub.
Yeah, it's just like a little global hub of healing and
Yeah.
Yeah, but these days I'm not in Santa Cruz. I'm here over the other side of the hill.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's so good to meet you. I feel like I might have seen you at
Unity Week.
World Unity Week in one of the forums, but it's good to see you again and connect more deeply.
Thank you. Yeah, pleasure. And I'm sure I will see you again in a future full moon meditation.
Beautiful, yeah. If not
Novasutras.
before then, I will see you next time.
Awesome.
Be well.
Namaste. Bye.